DJ Major Speed.
For our 5 abiotic factors that may impact the reproduction and growth of different types of plant group, we chose altitude, light, water, soil, and temperature. Altitude, because altitude affects the growth of bryophytes as the plant has adapted to grow at higher altitudes due to the high grazing at low altitudes.
Light is essential for all life on Earth and is needed by these plants in order for them to photosynthesize, reproduce, and grow.
Water, because water is a universal solvent for biochemical reactions and is also essential for life on Earth. And this can be proved by there being more species existing in regions of high humidity compared to arid regions.
Soil conditions also influence organisms, as the pH levels in the soil can determine which kind of plants can grow in it.
Temperature, because temperature has a big role on the growth of organisms as plants adapt to the different temperatures and flourish in certain conditions compared to others. An advantage of sexual reproduction is that sexual reproduction can adapt to the environment, and there's a variety of sexual partners which vary, whereas in asexual reproduction, it is limited to the most extreme individual in the population. Bryophytes are a small flowerless green plant of a division of Bryophyta, which comprises of mosses and liverworts. They live in fairly moist areas and need water for asexual reproduction. But bryophytes reproduce through the dispersing of spores by many factors such as wind, rainfall, and animals, or through sperm germination traveling through water. Water is needed for the reproduction of mosses, as the sperm need a medium in which to travel through to get to the egg so that germination can take place.
Pteridophytes are flowerless green plants which comprise of ferns and their relatives. Pteridophytes grow near water and are dependent on water for reproduction. On the underneath of the leaves, sori is located, which contains thousands of spores and are released when they turn brown and ripe. Water is needed for fertilization as it endures asexual reproduction.
Gymnosperm is a plant group that comprises those that have seeds unprotected by an ovary or fruit, including conifers, cycads, and ginkgo. Gymnosperms grow in dry conditions and develop cycads, which are the seed of the plant. The seed is not enclosed in an ovary, therefore the name naked seed, which accounts for why not a lot of water is needed for survival. Water is not needed for the reproduction, as the male cone has pollen which is blown by wind to the female cone where the two male and female gamete fuse.
Angiosperm is a large plant group that comprises of those that have flowers and produce seeds enclosed within a carpel. Angiosperms can survive all kinds of climate conditions and have small pollen grains that are used to spread the genetic information to other angiosperms. Reproduction occurs in an angiosperm when an insect or an animal collects pollen from the male reproductive organ called the anther, which is then transported to the female reproductive organ called the stigma, thus then travels to the ovule where a seed is made once the ovule is fertilized by pollen.